Meeting of the Westfield Parks and Recreation Board. Terry, will you please call the roll so we can confirm who's in attendance?
Mike Antrim.
Here.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Here.
Mike Hall.
Here.
Julie Grimmer.
Here.
Leanne Sintz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, great. I'm calling this meeting to order right here at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, if there are no changes to the agenda, do we have a motion to approve this meeting's agenda as prepared?
I move to approve this evening's agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim.
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Julie Grimmer.
Yes.
Leanne Sintz.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to the public comments portion, I don't believe we have any members of the public that would like to address the board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Moving on to the minutes from our last meeting on October 1st, 2025. Is there a motion to either make changes to the minutes or to approve them?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, I don't see any, so Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim.
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Julie Grimmer.
Yes.
Leanne Sintz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to old business. We don't have any items of old business, so moving on to new business. We have 4 items of new business to discuss. The first is a scope of services from V3 Companies Limited for certain Freedom Trail park improvements, including a restroom building and pickleball courts. Chris, will you please provide a more detailed overview?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam President. As you said, yes, this is a scope and fee service agreement with V3 for the SD and CD, so schematic design and construction documentation for the construction of a restroom and a pickleball facility at Freedom Trail Park. We're hoping to get this approved by the board this evening, and I do believe Sarah Evans is here with V3, so if any of the board members have questions at this time, myself as well as Sarah are happy to answer those.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I don't see any. Is there a motion to accept the scope of services as presented and authorize the director to enter into an agreement with V3 Companies Limited for those services?
Madam President,
Yes?
I move that the Park Board approve a professional services agreement with V3 for Freedom Trail Park improvements in an amount not to exceed $275,291 and authorize the director to execute the same.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Please call.
Mike Antrim.
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Julie Grimmer.
Yes.
Leanne Sintz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Our second item of new business is an amendment to the contract for goods and services with Boyle Construction Management, Inc. Chris, will you please provide an overview of this item?
Absolutely. For the record, Chris McConnell, Director of Parks, to introduce this change or this addition to our BCMI contract. There was a clerical error when we brought the contract to you to begin with. We wanted to include both of the alternates in that contract, and we neglected to put those in the contract. So this is basically taking those 2 alternates and adding them to the contract so we can get the 2 alternates constructed during the Simon Moon Phase 2 project. Those alternates are alternate number 1, which is painting the existing shelter for $3,000, and then alternate number 2, which is re-roofing the existing shelter with, as opposed to asphalt shingles, I do believe a metal roof at a cost of $28,000. Those total additions are $31,000, and that brings the total amended agreement amount to $5,171,000 even. If the board has any questions on this, I am happy to answer them at this time.
I just have a question. Are you looking for a motion to for just the amount of, to approve the amendment for the additional amount of 31,000?
Yes, that would be correct. So it's approving this agreement, which would add that $31,000 to the initial contract.
Asphalt shingle roof, or are you going with metal?
Metal, yeah. It's instead of the asphalt shingle, it'll be a metal roof to match the metal roof that is going to be on the new shelter.
Outstanding.
Okay, seeing no other questions, is there a motion to authorize the director to enter into the First Amendment to the contract for goods and services with Boyle Construction Management, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $31,000?
Madam President, I move to approve the amendment to the contract with Boyle Construction Management Incorporated for add alternative 1, which consists of painting of the existing shelter at Simon Moon Park, and add alternate 2, which consists of replacing the roof of the picnic shelter at Simon Moon Park in an amount of $31,000, bringing the total amended agreement to $5,171,000.
Great, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes,
Leanne Sins,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you. Our third item of new business is another amendment. First Amendment to Agreement for Services with Rundell Ernstberger Associates, Inc. to incorporate indemnification provisions. Chris, is there any additional information you want to provide on this item?
It is pretty straightforward. It was the removal of 2 words in order to better meet state statute that had changed recently. It removed the word defend in 2 places from that indemnification clause, and that's just basically a simple update to that verbiage.
Got it. Is there a motion to authorize the director to enter into the First Amendment to Agreement for Services with Rundell Ernstberger Associates?
I move to approve the amendment to the professional services agreement with Rundell Ernstberger Associates as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Leanne Sins,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, our last item of new business is Resolution 25-159, a resolution of the City of Westfield Parks and Recreation Board to proceed with the selection of construction manager as constructor services for the Park Street Improvements Project. I understand there's some folks here to present to us a little bit more information about that role in the selection process. But Chris, can you provide a little bit more of an overview and introduce the presenters?
Absolutely. As you stated, Madam President, this resolution is to accept a service agreement for CMC, or construction manager as constructor services, to move forward the Park Street project that will go to construction hopefully next year. Here to help the board understand and maybe talk a little bit more about what CMC is and the process we went through to select the CMC is Deb Kuntz with JS Held. She's got a brief PowerPoint that she's happy to provide for you guys. And at the end, when it's over, both her and Chris Drury, who served as legal representation on this project, are here to answer questions. Deb, if you want to come up. If you push, there you go, right there.
There we go. Deb Kuntz, JS Held. We are actually a consultant to Janelle Fairman in economic development. And so because Park Street is such an important part of economic development in this community, we're helping, assisting with things that are related to Park Street and make sure it's going to happen and happen well. So that's how I fit into all of this. I'm a consultant. I've been in the business 35 years and have done many, many, many CMC solicitations, and I'm an architect by training, so I do, but we do, JS Held is an owner's rep firm. We help clients who are going through construction projects give our expertise during those times. And Chris Drury with here, legal counsel to, under economic development as well. All right, so I think you all are familiar with the Park Street project, kind of how exciting it is. There's really 3 parts to it. There's Park Street, there is the public plaza, which is really next to the Old Town development, and then there's the Midland Trace connection. So that is a project that is in design right now by Rundell Ernstberger. And so the question really is, how are we going to get it constructed, right? We as the City of Westfield, how are we going to get this constructed? And under Indiana Statute 532, there is an opportunity to utilize construction manager as constructor as that avenue to construct this project. There's a couple reasons why we think that's the best way to deliver the construction of this project. And if we go to the next slide. Oh, there we go. Yeah, thanks. So one, it allows us to bring the contractor, the construction manager as part of the team during the design phase. So we get them on early. They can help with cost estimating, the scheduling, the planning, and as you know, as beautiful and as wonderful as this is going to be at the end, there are going to be some challenges along the way because we have so many active and great businesses, including many dining establishments. So having that those construction logistics and participation early is really going to improve the process. Plus, they have very strong access to what the market costs are right now. So if we are in a value engineering situation, we have to talk through some of those things. They bring that. That increased coordination with adjacent property owners is invaluable in a project like this when we have so many of them, and that they are in a position where we're going to be constructing Park Street and the plaza right in their front door. And then that just utilities drives any project like this because there are utilities underground and they have to be done first. So there's a lot of coordination with them. So there's a lot of reasons why CMC, we believe, is the right direction for this project. It's been in place, let's see, Chris, I don't know, a decade now? I was going to say about 2015. Okay, so almost a decade it's been in the Indiana statute to do it. It is, I would say, it's used a lot in vertical, maybe more in a little bit in vertical construction than in horizontal construction, but we are finding that it more and more beneficial in the horizontal. In fact, Grand Junction was done CMC. So just as a reminder, you as a city have done CMC before in horizontal, and it was done at Grand Junction. So there are statutory requirements that have to be done, and that's why we have Chris here. But just in short, there is a public notification, and we publicly notified it, we noticed it, but we also encouraged a lot of construction managers to join the process. They submitted requests for proposals. We actually issued the request on September 19th. We received 5 proposals on October 10th, and then shortlisted and interviewed 3 of those teams. I was the facilitator of the process. I did not vote, but you can see the evaluation team was made up of 3 people from the city: Chris McConnell, Janelle Fairman, and John Nail. So the 3 teams that were interviewed are Skillman Corporation, who partnered with Reith Riley, Beatty Construction, who partnered with Garmong, and F.A. Wilhelm Construction, who came in by themselves. The evaluation criteria that the evaluation team used include: 1, did they adhere to the submittal requirements, which include a level of qualifications, including being registered with the state of Indiana? What are their general qualifications to do this kind of work and show us similar experience? Also, what was their plan? How are they going to go about this? Making sure that we understand how they're thinking through it and how they're going to make this a smoother process. Their firm experience specific to this type of work. So we're looking for firms who have done this before, who can do it again with us, and really bring us strong aspects. And then, of course, their fee is always considered in this. And we looked at it 2 ways. We asked them to tell us what is their percentage fee that they would charge the city for this work, as well as what is their multiplier for staffing. So it's 2 ways to look at how their services are ultimately going to come into the city, into this project. So the evaluation team's recommendation, I'm here on behalf of the full evaluation team, but since Chris was here, he can speak to it from firsthand. But the CMC recommendation is F.A. Wilhelm Construction Company. They happen to be the same company that did CMC for Grand Junction, so they are familiar with the area. Personally, I've done lots of projects with them, and so they're very well known in the Indianapolis area. The next step, if you choose to move forward, is we would ask you to enter into negotiations, or allow us to enter into negotiations with the offer with the highest composite score, which is F.A. Wilhelm, based on the criteria that was listed, and make sure that they're obviously, we're seen as the best value. Wilhelm has the first step of fees is related to pre-construction. So all the estimating, the scheduling, the logistics, the planning, that happens prior to their mobilization on site is called pre-construction services. And Wilhelm has offered to do those services at $0. Now, you may be thinking, is that good? Is that bad? I mean, it feels good because it's $0, but are they going to, maybe not fully commit if they're not giving us dollars. This is a common practice with CMCs where they come in and say, we'll give you the pre-construction service. We're going to donate that to the city on behalf of it, and then they will continue on to the construction. The way CMC works is you hire the construction manager initially for pre-construction services only. You negotiate all the terms, but you only do the initial contract for the pre-con. And then ultimately, they work with the design team. They are required to do subcontractor bidding as part of it. And then ultimately, will come back and propose to the city of Westfield a guaranteed maximum price for all of the work. And we expect that to come in early '26. And so hopefully that gives you a flair for what, and examples of what's happening with CMC, why we think it's a good idea to do on this project. And I know Chris is here to answer any questions, and I'm also available to answer questions. Not to be confused with two Chris's. Sorry.
Are there any questions from the board?
I've never used this tactic, that the construction manager is construction services before, but how does this differ from like build, operate, transfer? Is the construction manager guaranteeing a price like a developer would with a bot project, or?
That is one way that they're similar.
Okay.
They are different. And Chris can also answer this, but let me start. So construction manager as constructor and bot, as we like to call it, build, operate, transfer. In a bot situation, your design team and your contractor and developer are all on the same team. It's a single contract that the city would have with the city of Westfield. Construction manager as constructor, you actually have two contracts. You have a design contract and you have a construction contract. So in that scenario, you have two. You already had a design contract going. And so bot really doesn't apply in this particular case because you had already started down this path with hiring a designer first, and then we're hiring the contractor.
Thank you, very helpful.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely. There's other intricacies, but that's a major difference for why we went this direction.
I don't see any other questions. Thank you very much for bringing your knowledge forward to help us understand what the city is proposing here. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 25-159?
I move to approve resolution number 25-159.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Leanne Zintz,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, great. We will now proceed to the director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, Chris McConnell, Director of Parks and Recreation, representing the city for my director's report. A long time ago, I said when we got into November and December, things started to slow down in parks, and it was our planning time. That now is no longer true. We are just as busy now as I think we are any other given time in the year. The tasks have changed quite a bit, but we certainly are busy. To give you kind of some of the high-level updates as to what's going on, Simon Moon Phase 2 is moving right along. All of the helical piers that will hold the additional boardwalks that will be added as part of that project have been installed, and they've started to fill the pond back up. So it was done relatively quickly, and I was very pleased with that. It will make sure that we don't have any freeze damage or any other type of damage to our ETS system that we installed in Phase 1. The playground was closed and demoed over the last couple of weeks, and the foundations for our structures, so our outdoor education facility and our winter pavilion, those will start to go in the next couple of weeks. So there's a lot of activity going on at Simon Moon. BCMI has really stepped up and are doing a great job so far. We currently have an RFP out for a new low-profile landscape services contract. If you remember correctly, low profile is any areas that really just require mowing. So that'll be due back the last week in November, and more than likely we will have ask for a bid award at the December meeting. Park Street, as you can tell, is moving forward with a selection of a CMC, as well as getting into the construction documentation detail work that REA will start getting into. We're prepping for the ice ribbon season. The guys have spent the last 3 days putting the ice ribbon in. Should be complete by tomorrow, and then that opens on the 22nd, November 22nd, to the general public. There is also a city staff event that I'd like to and encourage all the board members to come and bring their families. I will send you an invite. It is on the 20th of November. I have begun the process of engaging firms to update our zone improvement plan so we can update the park impact fee ordinance. That we're doing that because we've had a lot of different opportunities come about that aren't in that zone improvement plan. In order to qualify for park impact fee credits or park impact fee dollars, they have to be in that zone improvement plan by state statute. Some of the cool things that happened over the last month, Simon Moon Phase 1 is getting great accolades. So about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Simon Moon was awarded the Monumental Award for Landscape Architecture and was also awarded the AIM Green Project of the Year Award. So it's something I'm really proud of with this project. I think the community can be very proud of it as well. Some other things, maintenance activities, we're working on the sign install package along the trails. We'll add new speed limit signs, new yield signs to the Midland, and then we'll introduce a new logo sign for the Midland here in the next few weeks. You'll see some work going on 31. That's woody invasive control to get all of the cottonwoods and black willows that are starting to prop up, get those cut back. Our contractors are working on fall cleanup as well as winterizing our irrigation systems. And then we're in full swing for program planning. We're working through the creation of a new sponsorship package. We're prepping for our winter market, which will start the first week in January. We're finishing up movies in the park schedule. We'll have 5 of those next summer. We're also finishing up our jam schedule where we will add another concert. So we'll have 6 concerts next year in the plaza. I think all 6 are booked and going through the contract series with the bands. We're working on assisting with logistical planning with Westfield Welcome for America 250 Westfield Rocks the 4th, which should add another day of activity and possibly maybe a parade downtown. We're still working on that. And then our program department is finalizing a lot of our spring program offering as well. So we got a lot going on. If at this time the board has any questions about any of those things, I am happy to answer them.
Chris, congratulations on Simon Moon accolades. I know that's a lot of hard work, and you should be very proud.
I appreciate that. I am, and I know that V3 is also very proud, and because it's a big project for them as well. So it's nice to share that award with them.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much, Chris. It does sound like you have a lot going on. That's great to hear. We are moving on to other business. Does the board have any other items or comments to discuss? Okay. I hear of no other items, so just add the reminder that our next regular meeting will be held on Wednesday, December 3rd. Now that we are at the end of the agenda, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A second, please.
I'll second.
Terry, will you please call the roll?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes?
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Julie Grimmer,
Yes.
Leanne Sins.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7:23.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Thanks.
Thank you both for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you both for being here. Makes it a little easier.